All right, here we are with the overhead press. We unrack it. The bar is tight to my chest, kind of resting on top of my shoulders or top of my chest. The weight is resting in the bottom or the heel of my hand. And you see my elbows or my forearm is vertical. That's really important. It's vertical, and actually I'm leading with my elbow. So I'm actually driving my elbows forward a little bit to almost make it a slight angle. And then I brace hard. I brace really hard. That's really important. And I drive straight overhead. So as I drive overhead, I tuck my chin to my chest. And once my head clears the bar, you see how I drive my head through to finish the press. So it's tuck and then drive through. We want that straight line. So we're just elbows forward and drive through. Okay guys, so now we're looking at a couple faults. This first one is I'm not driving my elbows under the bar. And you can see as I'm at the bottom, the angle of my arms or my forearms is facing forward. We want to reverse that angle. So I really need to be more aggressive at driving my hands or my elbows under and forward of the bar. So you see how that directly affects the bar path as I don't quite get it overhead. And now I'm going to go to the other extreme, where I'm going to drive my elbows too far forward, and you'll see the bar gets way high in my hand, so I basically lose like all power and all leverage to really get any strength into the lift. And so I'm too aggressive on this one driving forward, and you see right, it's definitely not in the heels of my hands, it's actually in my fingertips, and I have no leverage and no strength in that position at all. So we want to keep it in the heels of the hand, the bottom area of the hand, and we want a slight forward angle of that forearm, but not overly aggressive. So now we're looking at the front view, and another common fault is too wide of a grip. You see right here, I'm way out wide, and my shoulders, my elbows, and my hands are all three different widths, basically we'll call it, okay? And that makes it tougher. I mean, it builds some shoulders on you, but for a strength standpoint, you're losing a lot of leverage because you got a lot of moving pieces. So ideally, and this is dependent on your mobility and those types of things, but we want to bring it in. And so we're more stacked in the hand, the elbow, and the shoulder are close together, or closer. And there we have a straight line, a straight path where we can utilize better leverage. So we're bringing it in tight, elbows in tight, shoulders in the hands, and then we drive from that position. All right, now we're looking at the push press, and the push press is just a variation of the overhead press. As you can see, it's an explosive movement, so we're adding an element of power. Okay, technically speaking, there's not much difference. Okay, except that we're lowering to or bending our legs to get some lower body drive, so it's a full body exercise. So we cue this one pretty straightforward. It's a dip and a drive. When you drive up, you're literally almost like jumping and just powering the weight straight overhead. So it finishes in the same position. Okay, we're just adding a little bit of a dip to start. So here's the forward-facing position. It's the same exact setup as my overhead press would be, and I dip and I explode and drive out into that overhead position. So that's a push press. It's pretty easy to learn if you have the overhead press down, and it's obviously a more explosive, power-producing movement. And the last thing I want to talk about is a common fault with the push press and the dip phase. So here, these first couple reps, this is what I don't want to do. Dropping straight down and just bending the knees. And these next couple reps is what we want. So we drop down and rotate out. Okay, so we're actually like corkscrewing or rotating the hips out. So it's down and out. Okay, that'll keep our feet flat on the ground, allow us to keep an upright torso. Here's the same thing, other view. So the first couple are just a knee bend coming straight forward. Okay, you'll see my heels when I come off the ground. When that weight gets heavy, it's going to perpetuate, it's going to make that even more so, okay? But if I drop and rotate out, I got a more solid base to push off of, and you can see my upper body, my torso still stays upright, which is essential for this movement.